Hello there. You were probably expecting to see the Flying Scotsman here, weren't you? That's who you expect to see every week on this channel. But instead you're seeing me, Billy Core, from the Nostalgia Mall channel instead. Goodness, I'm not even in the same country as Jay. I live here in the United States of America. That's a good ways away from Scotland, so what on earth am I doing here? Well, two words. April Fools. You see, last year at this time, Jay and I had this idea to upload videos to each channel for April Fool's Day as kind of a fun little thing to do, plus it gives each other a little bit of exposure on each other's channels. So each one of you subscribers on each channel can see what the other channel has to offer. And so we are doing that again this year. So welcome to the Flying Scotsman. I'm not the Flying Scotsman. I'm Billy Core from the Nostalgia Mall. And so I have decided to show the viewers of the Flying Scotsman something from my computer collection, something that is seen quite often on my YouTube channel. And that item would be this right here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Corner Packard Bell Multimedia D132. This is known to many people as one of the rarest computers of all time. Well, maybe that's an overstatement, but it is still quite a rare computer to find. In fact, YouTube user LGR did a video a few years ago about the rarest computers from the 90s, and this made the list. And as a Packard Bell collector, obviously I wanted to have one of these in my home. But I just assumed that this was just unobtainable. And so I just didn't actively seek out one of these. Well, a friend of mine who wound up sending me my childhood Packard Bell back in 2013, which was the subject of last year's April Fool's video on this channel. He reached out to me at the end of 2016 saying that he had a Corner Packard Bell desktop, and I'd already known he had that. He had it for a couple of years, but he didn't need it anymore, and he was offering to sell it to me. And so obviously I wanted to jump on that. Now, it took a little bit to get it down here, but in June of 2017, this arrived at my home, and it has been in the collection ever since. And I gotta say, having owned this computer for almost 3 years now, I gotta say it is definitely a unique system. There's some interesting design elements in this computer, like this gray piece right here. It's removable. You can take that out and just set the monitor on top of the computer itself. Right now the monitor is on top of this gray piece, and every now and then when one of these appears on eBay, which is not often, this will the Corner computers will not have these because they go missing. But thankfully with this computer I was able to get the gray piece along with it. And to open the computer up, you remove this piece right here and this piece right here. These are the two face plates, and then there are two screws in the back to unscrew, and then you can lift the case off. It's definitely a unique way to open a computer, I must say. Forgive the poor cable management back here, but this is what the rear of the machine looks like. This computer was manufactured November the 13th of 1996. And it's an interesting way the ports are laid out on here. The original specs for this machine are a little hard to find. There is absolutely no documentation of this particular model of computer online anywhere. This, again, is a Packard Bell Multimedia D132 officially. But again, you cannot find any information online regarding what this originally shipped with, especially since when I got this computer it no longer had its original hard drive in it. And as you know, Packard Bell hard drives, the original ones include the system credentials on there, which gives you a list of the specifications that the computer originally shipped with. And I think the only thing I know of that was original to the system was the processor, which was a 166 megahertz Pentium, a socket 7 Pentium. But this computer has been upgraded quite a bit over the last 3 years. The computer now has a Intel Pentium MMX overdrive chip clocked at 200 megahertz, which gives this computer MMX capability. It now has a 60 gigabyte hard drive in there, which is way overkill for a system like this, but you know what? I needed a hard drive for this computer. The 60 gig was lying around doing nothing, so in it went. And the system now has 64 megabytes of memory and a 3D Effects Voodoo 1 video card, giving this computer a 3D glide acceleration, which is really, really nice. And this also has a very nice CD-ROM drive in here. This is not original to the system. I added this. One problem with this computer is that, like the Packard Bell designer towers, this computer uses special drive rails to put the 5 1/4 inch drives in. And I discovered recently that even though the drive rails for the designer tower look similar to what would be in this system, the drive rails are not interchangeable between the two computer types. I tried putting the designer tower rails in there and it did not fit, which is a shame because I do not have the original drive rails for this, so this CD-ROM is just being held in with bubble wrap and pieces of cardboard. It's not very elegant, but it gets the job done well enough. Also, I should probably mention that this computer was out of commission for most of last year. Back in February of 2019, I was using this computer, and suddenly the computer just randomly turned itself off. And I hit the power switch, and it would not come back on. And then I saw the sign of smoke coming out of the back of the computer, and most specifically, the smoke was coming out of the power supply. Yeah, it seems the power supply died very dramatically. Didn't make any noise or anything, no explosions, but it did let out the magic smoke, and it did leave the horrible smell of burnt electronics in this room for a couple of days. Now, the problem with this computer is that the power supply design, while it's a AT style power supply, technically it is a very proprietary design because this is a very proprietary computer. And the power supplies for this computer, you just can't put a regular AT power supply in here and expect it to work. It's a special form factor that was made specifically for this type of corner Packard Bell desktop, and finding a power supply is very, very difficult. But thankfully, the I was able to find a new power supply on eBay. I had to pay about $150 for it though. But back in December, I was able to get a new power supply in here, and it's worked great ever since. What happened to the old power supply? Well, a friend of mine had a look at it to do a bit of an autopsy on it, and it turns out that a transistor on it exploded, or went bad, I should say, and that's what killed the power supply, which was a sad way to go. And of course, the part on the computer that had to go out on me was the rarest part you could get for this computer, but all is well now. Okay, I guess now is a good time to fire it all up. And by the way, this keyboard right here came with this computer originally, so that was a very cool thing to have. So here we go, power switch is right over here. It's a interesting thing posting this video on the Flying Scotsman channel because this computer is actually connected to the KVM switch that the Flying Scotsman used to have in his flat. He sent that to me last fall, and it served me very, very well. It's a 8-station Linksys KVM. But anyway, here's the computer posting. It takes a very long time to post for some reason. It's always had this problem ever since I got it 3 years ago. So, don't know what the deal is. Probably something drive related if I had to guess. But you can see here we got 64 megs of RAM. It's detected both the hard drive and the CD-ROM drive, and we have a 200 megahertz processor speed. This computer, despite it being a socket 7, the motherboard officially does not support full-fledged MMX chips or anything else like that. You could very well risk damaging the motherboard, but the chip that's in here now is a overdrive chip designed for computers that don't support a regular MMX, so we should have no trouble with this at all. And it's worked great for me for about a year and a half now. I put it in back in July of 2018, I think. But here we are, booting in. And the network card has a boot BIOS on it. Okay, I got Easy BIOS installed on here because the BIOS built into the computer does not officially support this size of a hard drive. But we are booting into Windows 95, which is what originally came with this computer. And yes, I do have the Plus Pack installed. And we'll log on to my domain, which Jay actually helped me set up a few years ago. And there's everyone's favorite Brian Eno Microsoft sound. And so here we are at the desktop. I've installed quite a bit of software on here. One major project that I have been using this computer for recently, especially now that the whole world is pretty much shut down due to the coronavirus, is I've actually been writing a novel on here. It's a time travel comedy novel, and I've been writing it with Microsoft Word 97. And obviously I'm not going to show you what I have written right now because I want it to be a surprise when the book is released, and I don't want anyone stealing my ideas right now. So yeah, I've always said that no matter how old a computer is, for the most part, you can still use it for word processing. And this computer does a great job at that, and plus I figured my book takes place in the 90s for the most part, so why not type it up on a 90s computer. So anyway, with this being a Packard Bell, we have Packard Bell Navigator. This is version 3.6 coming up.
Welcome from Packard Bell. We offer you two computing environments to choose from, Packard Bell's Navigator or Microsoft Windows. You may also begin by taking a quick lesson on using the mouse.
I'm infamously known on my home channel for always making jokes about the Packard Bell Navigator mouse lesson. It's a joke that goes all the way back to 2008, actually, hard to believe. But here's the Navigator living room, and we can access the our media player here from Audio Station. Let's find a good MIDI song to play. Oh yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, that's Audio Station. Used to use it all the time on my childhood Packard Bell. And here's the info room where we can access America Online, Prodigy, and CompuServe. Remember those internet services from years ago? And the software room. with Kid Space.
Hello and welcome to Kid Space. This is the fun place to work and play.
No, it isn't he? Oh, rocket. Sorry, whoever that crashes into. Didn't mean to do that. Oh, yeah, ski free. Ouch. Ouch. Can we do it? Ouch. Yep, 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 yep. Ouch. Yep. Ooh, set the tree on fire. Yep, yep, yep. That's you! Hey, this is a Flying Scotsman video, so there has to be a funny voice in this video. I'm required by law to do that. Ouch. Okay, we should be meeting our old friend soon. Ah, there he is. There he is. Hope you don't get indigestion from that fella.
Working.
That is not a toy.
Remember, that is not a toy, folks. That is not a toy. Ooh, that sounded painful. Whatever that was. And here's system properties. And as I mentioned before, this computer has a built-in Cirrus Logic 5430 video card that's on board. We have a 3-COM Ethernet card that I added in here. And there's our Packard Bell sound card with our Voodoo Graphics 3D accelerator. Okay, now for a couple of games. And we're going to start off with a game that I doubt most of you Flying Scotsman viewers may be aware of, because this is a game that was really not that popular back in the day, but to me it is a underrated classic. A little game called Firefight. This came out in 1996 by Epic Mega Games. And it's designed for Windows 95 in mind. And my dad and I, when I was growing up, we absolutely played this game to death. My dad was so fascinated by this game. He was so addicted to it. And I believe he's still waiting for the sequel 24 years later. Which, sadly, we can all assume is not going to happen. Now, before we start playing, I want to make sure my joystick is working properly, and it's not. Sometimes it likes to lose calibration settings, so I gotta recalibrate it. It'll only take a minute. Okay, there we go. So we should be ready to play now. And we don't need the DirectX bundled with this computer. With the game, I mean. Viewers of my channel will know that sometimes I get tongue-tied. So, let's play some Firefight.
Electronic Arts, Epic Mega Games, Chaos Works, Firefight.
And here we go. Level 1, Static. Unauthorized transmissions have been detected on Jarvintia and will not be tolerated. Perform a standard suppression sweep by destroying all structures in this remote area. Sounds kind of unfriendly, but okay.
Locate and destroy the first of 2 communication centers in this area.
Alright, here we go.
Cheater.
Viewers of my channel will know that sometimes in order to get through a game quick, I like to cheat. So we got invulnerability
You have
turned on.
found a secret place.
So yeah, this is just a top-down shoot-'em-up game in a way, with some really good graphics for the time, if you ask me. And it has some really nice CD audio tracks as well. This game has always given me a strong Star Trek vibe, for some reason.
You have found a secret place.
Very secret place. You.
Entire air and ground defense has been destroyed.
Yay!
Mission complete.
Okay, one more level. Of course, there's a bunch of levels on this game. First time I ever played this game was on the AOL Games channel. We downloaded a demo of it, and my dad just fell in love with it and went to CompUSA and bought a copy. Oh. Extreme prejudice isn't nice, folks. Not nice at all.
Beaming up successful. Beaming up successful.
Alright. Let's do this.
Incoming missile. Beaming up successful. Incoming missile. Beaming up successful. Incoming missile. Shield flight.
Oh, I forgot to turn invulnerability back on. There we go.
Beaming up successful. Beaming up successful.
Okay, we beamed out her. Nope. Got one more here.
Beaming up successful.
Yeah, if you guys can find a copy of this game somewhere, I highly recommend picking it up. It is a very fun game, very underrated.
Beaming up successful. Beaming up successful. Beaming up successful. Beaming up successful.
This game did run a little bit slow on our Packard Bell Legend 822 CDT with its 100 megahertz Pentium, but you know what? It was still a fun game. We still enjoyed ourselves. Sometimes you don't need the most powerful computer in the world to have fun. It's the moments you make with your computer that count. I remember my teenage year computer, my Dell Dimension 2350 that I got new in 2003, which I still have, by the way. was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful computer. Very reliable, had so much fun with it. But its big problem was it had onboard Intel GMA graphics, which, as you know, back in those days, in the early to mid 2000s, those video cards were garbage. But I remember playing games like SimCity 4 and The Sims 2 on there, which are very graphic-hungry games. And yes, ran like garbage on there, but you know what? I still had fun. I still had fun. The computer finally did get a video card upgrade, but it wasn't until 2014. It now proudly has a PCI-based NVIDIA FX 5200. Very controversial video card choice, I know, but it works great in there. And it beats what was in there before. I'm running low on ammo. There we go.
Beaming up successful. Beaming up successful.
Notice how they mentioned something called a Farcaster. Well, when I was a child, and we would play this game, and the Farcaster would appear, I would scream like a 2-year-old and cry. Because, for some reason, I found the sight of the Farcaster to be scary. And, yeah. I don't know why I thought the Farcaster was scary or was going to jump out of the computer and eat me, but that's just how I was back then. So in a minute or so, I will be reunited with one of my childhood fears, the Farcaster, and you'll get to join me as I do that. So, in the words of David Letterman, phone the neighbors, wake the kids. This is a show you don't want to miss. Okay, that guy's done. Okay, anytime now.
Plasma gun
Just let me
activated.
change my ammo.
Swarmers activated.
Alright, we're coming up on it. Here it comes, folks. Here it comes. Here it comes. There's the Farcaster. Oh my goodness, it's the Farcaster. Ah! Okay. Okay, I'm good. I'm good. But yep. How appropriate for the lightning to strike right there. That is indeed the Farcaster. A thing of my childhood nightmares. So let's enter the Farcaster. The reason the Farcaster exists is to transport you from one part of the game map to another.
Large ship in range.
Oh, also, this used to terrify me as well, these large ships. But that's taken care of.
Incoming missile. Incoming missile. Incoming missile.
Alright, you can go away, folks.
Hang in there. Only 2 more. There's one more site, just ahead. We'll get you out before those suckers blow. Too bad. Got a couple friends in the area.
Mission complete.
Alright, that's Firefight. Highly recommend picking this game up if you can find it. Very underrated classic. Okay, how about a quick DOS game? I'm going to play a game that I believe Jay enjoys, so this is something that would not be unusual to be seen on this channel. And this is Jazz Jackrabbit, the original one from 1994. Now I'm going to play this through Windows because this game has this very crazy glitch where if you have a high amount of memory, let's say like this computer has 64 megabytes of memory or higher, and you try to load it from within DOS mode, the computer will restart itself, and I do not understand why it does that, but if you open it through Windows, that doesn't happen. So here we go, Jackrabbit. This is such a fun game. I did not know about this game's existence when I was a child, but I can tell you I would have loved it if I had if I had known about it back then. So let's play some Jackrabbit, shall we? Game's a little laggy just because I'm running it through Windows, but there's really no other option for this game since this computer has 64 megs of RAM. If anyone has a solution to that glitch, please let me know. I would love to figure it out. I know this game is notorious for not liking certain processors, like newer ones from Pentium 2 or higher, and there is a patch for that, which does work, but the patch doesn't fix this memory problem, and I can't find any documentation of this problem anywhere online, so it's quite bizarre. Go. Very fun game, very bright and colorful game too. These are the kind of games I miss seeing made. Everything's gotten all dark and gritty nowadays for games. Here we go. Okay, so there you have it. This is the Corner Packard Bell Multimedia D132. I am so glad to have this computer in my home. This is kind of an icon for my Nostalgia Mall channel. In fact, you see it in at the end of all my intros. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more content like this, please feel free to check out my channel. It's called the Nostalgia Mall, and I hope to see you guys there. And if you're wanting to see the actual Flying Scotsman video for this week, more than likely you'll probably be able to find it on my channel right now. So thank you for joining me. I hope you folks over in Scotland have been able to tolerate this video. Until next time, this is Billy Core signing off.